What's up guys, Bloodshed here, bringing you the Crusader Starter Build for Season 14, Diablo 3. The Season of Greed is almost upon us. The Hadrig's Gift set this time around is based on the Akkhan Set. Okay, I'll go ahead and run through the abilities right away. If you're unfamiliar with the series, it's like a survival guide starter build type series where we take you from level 1 blood shard recommendations all the way to like your end game push builds. The description is going to be filtered with every single build we talk about and even more, so make sure you check the description for all that stuff. The 2-piece reduces the cost of all abilities while Akkhan's Champion is active. Akkhan's Champion makes us like immune to CC, gives us various effects depending on which rune you go with. Typically we use the Prophet rune. When you get killed, you get brought back to life, so you can actually use that to your advantage to get your health and everything back to full, so that's always good. The 4-piece reduces the cooldown of Akkhan's Champion, so it's going to be up a lot faster. The main thing you need to know is to have a full time of Akkhan's Champion with the 4-piece is 56% cooldown. Okay, so putting cooldown everywhere early game is more important than crit damage. Speeding to 56% cooldown is super duper important. You also get a 35% damage increase when you have Akkhan's Champion active. And then once you get your 6-piece, you're doing 1500% damage and taking 50% less damage. So it has like a built-in unity effect right into the set itself. Other than the cooldown, there's no crazy life per fury things like the barb had or anything like that. It's not nearly as strong as the barb is with the 4-piece. But with the Crusader lacks in raw, brutal strength, with the 4-piece, it makes up for it in variety. So we'll get into that in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and show you the GR20 clear. But before we get into the builds and everything, let's talk about blood shards. If you're unfamiliar with blood shards, you can save your challenger for the week and do it once the season goes live. I'm going to put a challenger video in the description that goes into it with more detail if you're unfamiliar with the start. This is the 3rd or 4th season we've had this start, so it's super important that you do this. Level 1 blood shards is interesting with Crusader. You can go 2 routes. You can go the shield route and you're guaranteed to get a multiplier, whether it's the Guard of Johanna or the Denial Shield. So there's the only 2 you can possibly get. They both have multipliers. You would use Sweep Attack with this one, and of course you would use Blessed Hammer with the Guard of Johanna. So there's only 2 options. If you roll shields and you get a legendary, you're good to go. It only costs 25 blood shards, and you get about 475 to begin with your challenge rift bag. If it was me, I'm not going to main Satyr next season. If it was me, I would probably just go with a Leoric's Crown. Okay, that's the only helm at level 1, and I would probably cube it around 70 or something. I wouldn't even worry about it till later. You just want, when you get your 4-piece, is about when you start doing your bounties, that's probably when I would cube the Leoric's Crown. There's a really high chance you're going to get this while leveling, but for the few of you guys that have really bad RNG like myself sometimes, I would probably just pick up my Leoric's, and then I'll have that cooldown the whole way while leveling. And you can also put a red gem in the helmet, and you can get a bonus to XP for your group. So you'll be able to equip this at level 16 if you roll it at level 1. But I can see everyone going for shields, especially because my entire starter builds are based off of Blessed Hammer. So I'll leave that up to you guys. This will be like a telltale version. Option A or option B, you decide. Now that that's out the way, you hit 70, make sure you craft a 2-handed weapon. We're going to be taking advantage of Heavenly Strength. We're going to be taking advantage of the Blunt passive. It's going to give us a little boost to our hammers. The reason why we're using hammers, Blessed Hammer, 2 reasons. It's a low cost spender. It only costs 10 Wrath to throw out a damaging attack for 640 damage. That might be the highest or one of the highest low cost to a high damage ratio spenders. So this is what we're going to abuse, the low cost, high damage of this. We're going to use the passives. It's all going to work together. So yeah, again, nothing beneficial in the cube, right? We have no condemn on our bar, no max gems, no legendary gems, no paragon was used in the making of this video. Let's jump into the GR20 clear and show some gameplay. The pony is great for like the mobility. Let's go ahead and get in here. Your shield glare actually makes them take 20% increased damage. So make sure you actually land shield glare, and so like that. Also, the first legendary gem you get at level 70 is of course a Bane of the Powerful, so you make sure you want to do your level 1. So in this case scenario, I might do a level 1 GR and then jump into the GR20 clear. Even though I'm supremely confident in the build, you can see we're getting by. Supremely confident, right? No problem. We're already ahead on time on the first pack. And I would probably do that just to put a little cherry on top, make it a little bit more efficient. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and look for our next pack here. But Blessed Hammer hits hard enough on its own with no multipliers. You don't need anything else to go with it. Of course, Reaper's Wraps, you can craft Reaper's Wraps. Make sure you're there for the mouth heal kill. You can get Reaper's Wraps on any difficulty. And yeah, it's super important to go get those Reaper's Wraps. You might get a little more resource for this portion. Let's do a little bit more just to kind of lock it in right here. And again, if you get 56% cooldowns, like if you just collect cooldown gear, maybe you're in a party and you're like, hey guys, if you get any cooldown rings, you get any cooldown amulets, throw them on the ground. You know what I mean? If you plan ahead, you might end up with perma Akkarats and you'll do way more damage than this. I mean, you can see proof is in the rift, right? So to speak. All right, so the 20 is complete. Now you get your other 2 pieces of gear, you throw it on, and you're like, okay, blood, now what? Okay, I would use the same exact build until I get a multiplier. What kind of multipliers are there, blood? Oh my goodness, this is where the real fun begins for early game. So remember when I said Crusader gets a variety? This is what it is. With a 6-piece bonus, you get 15% increased damage to anything, everything. So if you happen to get, say, a Garfalcon weapon, which is the Blessed Shield, and you would basically use Blessed Shield on your bar. So you would right-click your hammer and go to Blessed Shield. The Fire Rune's good, and Shattering Throw's good. There's a lot of good ones here. We'll have builds for everything in the description. If you got that Denial Shield early, if you went with shields, you might want to put this in the cube, and boom, you would use Sweep Attack, and your Sweep Attacks would be powered up from the Denial and the 6-piece bonus. Again, if you land this Frighter's Wrath, I pray for your RNG. I landed this non-season, feels bad, man. But the Condemn weapons, the Frighter's Wrath shield, and the Blade of Prophecy. One thing to note, make sure you're upgrading Crusader shields. That might mess some people up. I've had people in stream that are like, where is this? So there's regular shields, which the Denial is a regular shield. I know it's weird. And then there's Crusader shields. Frighter's Wrath is a Crusader shield. So just make sure, maybe I'll put that D3 planner link in the description for you guys. You can see right here under Crusader shields, Johanna, and regular shields is the Denial. So you can always use this sheet also if you're unsure about something, you can set it to 70 and look at all the different Satyr shields and regular shields. Of course, you can build into like Lazy Shotgun, Holy Shotgun. Again, this would be like an hour-long video because there's so many different routes. Any multiplier you can basically build off of with the set. So it's kind of a really fun start. Lots of amazing ways to build the Akkhan Crusader. You can even do an Akkhan Thorns version. We won't even get into that, okay? At this point, I would probably switch from red gems in my gear once I start doing T7 into diamonds just for the survivability. After like T7 or so, you know, poison starts to do some real poison damage and so forth. So I would look out for those. If you were close to the Akkarat's champion cap, like let's say you were like 50% cooldown and you need to get to 56, you might want to consider making a one-hander and switching to the other two-handed passive Fervor for that extra 15% cooldown. So that might be something that you do. I wouldn't do that unless I was close to having the permanent uptime. Otherwise, I don't think it would outweigh the benefits of a two-hander. Two-handers have a crazy damage range, 32, 64. One-handers are 17, 29. So that's what the abilities are based off of, your weapon damage. So keep that in mind, my friends. Your first speed build you'll build into is this Condemned Sage version. This will be in the description, of course. Basically, you get an extra Death's Breath with every elite kill. The Sage set is crafted from the blacksmith, so make sure you get the pattern first. With the double goblin event, you might get this a little bit easier, so that's awesome. It all works together. This is one of the best speed farm builds in the game. It's not the fastest, but you're getting that extra DB. It feels really fast. Let me do a quick run through, give you a little bit more gameplay before we wrap things up. Basically, ride around, hit the condemn button, and things just get obliterated. This is great for bounties. This is great for goblin farming. And this is one of those goblin farming builds you can do on T13. A lot of the other ones, like, say, Dash Monk, suffer big time. I don't have the right cooldown in the build, but A lot of the like Dash Monk suffers from like killing T13, but this definitely does not. And then again, you get those extra materials, and it's a powerhouse. I mean, this is the strongest. Condemn is the strongest build in the game, or at the very least, it's tied right for the strongest solo push build. So you're in good hands with the Akkhan set. That's when people say Akhan's the best start. It's because it's the best solo push build. So make sure to follow me up above at twitch.tv/bloodshed. We stream there 6 days a week. Diablo 3, World of Warcraft. I'm going to be doing a massive 26-hour stream for the season start of Season 14. I'm excited about that. Big shout out to my patrons. Thank you for doing what you do, supporting the stream through thick and thin, through patch or no patch. I appreciate it. Also, big shout out to the Twitch subs out there. I see you. I see you. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? I see you guys. There's a giveaway also in the description. I know the description has a lot of links, okay? I am aware. I'm sorry, but I hope it works out for you guys. This is the Bloodshed, and I'm out of here. Peace.